I don't know why I'm writing this here. Maybe because I don't deserve to burden anyone in my real life with what I've done. I cheated on my husband. The man who has been nothing but kind, loving, and loyal to me. And I didn't just cheat. I did it the night before our anniversary. The very same anniversary he had spent weeks planning a surprise for. I ruined him, and I ruined us, for something that meant absolutely nothing. I hate myself more than I can put into words. We've been married for 7 years. Together for almost 10. He's the kind of man people describe as one of the good ones. He's gentle but strong, patient in ways I could never be, and he never once made me doubt his love. He remembered the little things about me that I didn't even remember myself, like how I always get cold in restaurants, so he'd bring a jacket even if I swore I didn't need one. Or how he'd stop at the bakery on Fridays to pick up my favorite pastry, even though it was out of his way. Birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, he never treated them like obligations. To him, they were opportunities to make me smile. I always thought I had the perfect husband, and in many ways I did. This year, I noticed him acting a little secretive. Not in a suspicious way, in an excited way. He'd get these little smirks when I asked what he was planning, and he'd brush me off with, "You'll see." I found receipts for a suit I'd never seen him wear before, and I caught him on the phone whispering about reservations. I knew he was planning something big for our anniversary. Instead of appreciating that, instead of honoring the love he has always given me, I threw it all away the night before. A group of coworkers had convinced me to go out for drinks. It wasn't unusual. I sometimes joined them, though never stayed late. That night, though, I did. I drank more than I should have, laughed more than I should have, and when one of them leaned in and gave me attention, I didn't stop it. I let it happen. I can't even justify it. There was no grand excuse like, our marriage was failing or I felt unloved. None of that was true. It was a stupid, reckless, selfish decision made in a haze of alcohol and temporary flattery. And before I fully realized what I was doing, I crossed a line I can never uncross. I came home late. He was already asleep, sprawled on his side of the bed, snoring softly. The sight of him made my stomach turn. Not because of him, but because of me. I wanted to throw up. I wanted to crawl out of my skin. I remember standing there in the dark, staring at the man who loved me more than anyone else ever has, and thinking, what have I done? The next day was our anniversary. I tried to act normal. I tried to plaster on a smile, to push the guilt down, but it was already rotting me from the inside out. He came home that evening with the biggest grin, carrying flowers and a wrapped box. He led me into the dining room, where he had set the table with candles and my favorite meal. He put so much thought and love into everything, and I could barely breathe. I couldn't eat. I couldn't even look at him without wanting to scream at myself. Halfway through the dinner, I broke. I started crying, and when he asked what was wrong, I blurted it out. That I cheated. That I betrayed him the night before. The look on his face is seared into my memory. At first, just silence, like he didn't even process the words. Then the heartbreak hit. His eyes watered, but he didn't cry. He just looked shattered. He asked, with who? I told him. He asked if it meant anything. I said no, that it was meaningless. That only made it worse. He stood up, pushed his chair back, and just stared at me for a long time before saying, I can't even look at you right now. Then he left. He didn't yell. He didn't curse me out. Somehow, that made it even worse. That night, he packed a bag and left. I don't even know where he went at first. Later I found out he stayed with a friend. The house has been unbearably quiet since. Word got around faster than I expected. Some of my friends told me I'd made the biggest mistake of my life, as if I didn't already know. Others didn't even want to speak to me. His family, who always treated me like one of their own, won't return my calls. His mom, who used to call me just to chat, sent me one message. Don't contact me again. I don't blame her. Everyone's furious with me, and they should be. I'm furious with myself. I had the best man I will ever know, and I destroyed him for a meaningless fling. I can't stop replaying it in my head. How excited he was for our anniversary, how proud he was of the surprise he had planned, and I killed it all in one night. I don't know if he'll ever forgive me. I don't even know if I deserve to be forgiven. I'm not writing this because I think there's a way to fix it. I know some things can't be fixed. I'm writing this because I can't carry the guilt in silence anymore. I ruined my marriage, I ruined the person I love most, and I ruined myself. I will never stop hating what I did. And I will never stop hating that I hurt him, the one person who never deserved it. Update 1. It's been a few weeks since I wrote my original post. I wish I could say things have improved, but they haven't. If anything, they've gotten worse. I feel like I'm living in the aftermath of an explosion I set off with my own hands. Everything is in pieces, and no matter how much I try to put them back together, nothing fits anymore. After the night I confessed, my husband packed a bag and left. At first, I thought maybe he just needed space, that after a couple of days he'd come home and we'd talk. I told myself, he's hurt but he loves me. We've been through so much together, maybe we can survive this. But he didn't come home. He's been staying with a friend ever since, and the only time I hear from him is about bills, the house, or other logistical things. His messages are short, cold, and formal. The man who used to send me good morning texts, just to make me smile, now sends me one-line reminders about due dates. I've tried reaching out. I've called, I've texted, I've written long emails pouring out every ounce of apology and regret I have in me. Sometimes he ignores me completely. Other times he responds with a single sentence. I don't want to talk about this. The last time I begged him to go to counseling with me, he said, "Why should I fight for someone who didn't fight for me?" That line broke me in ways I can't describe. He's right. He always fought for me. And when it mattered most, I didn't fight for him. His family. God, I can't even face them. They know. I don't know how much he told them, but enough. His mother, who used to treat me like her own daughter, told me not to contact her again. His sister unfollowed me on everything. His best friend, who was always polite if not overly warm to me, sent me a message that said, "You have no idea what you've done to him." I do know. That's the problem. Through mutual friends, I hear bits and pieces about how he's doing. None of it makes me feel better. He's lost weight. He's stopped hanging out with people. Apparently, he spends most of his time at work or at the gym. It's like he's trying to outrun the pain, or bury it under exhaustion. A friend of his told me that he still talks about me sometimes, but it's never good. It's always sadness or anger or disbelief. Like he still can't wrap his head around the fact that I, of all people, did this to him. And that's the cruelest part, because I can't wrap my head around it either. I keep replaying that night over and over in my head, like maybe if I relive it enough times, I'll finally understand why. But the truth is, there is no why. It wasn't because I was unhappy. It wasn't because I didn't love him. It wasn't because I felt neglected. None of those things were true. I did it because I was stupid and selfish and careless. Because I let temporary flattery and alcohol cloud my judgment. And for that, I threw away the one thing in my life that was truly good. The person I cheated with? I haven't heard from him since. He didn't call. He didn't text. He didn't check in. Nothing. I was just another notch in his belt, another night for him to forget about as soon as it was over. The humiliation of that eats at me almost as much as the guilt. I destroyed my marriage, my husband, and myself for someone who doesn't even care enough to remember my name. That's what I traded my life for. Nothing. Less than nothing. A few days ago, my husband finally asked to meet up. My heart soared for a moment. I thought maybe he was ready to talk, to hear me out, maybe even to consider giving us a chance. I spent hours preparing what I'd say, rehearsing apologies and promises and pleas. But when we sat down across from each other at that cafe, his face was calm in a way that scared me. Not angry. Not emotional. Just resigned. He didn't want to talk about reconciliation. He wanted to talk about divorce papers. I tried to argue. I begged him to at least try counseling, to take some time before making a permanent decision. He listened quietly, and then he shook his head. He said, "I love who you were. I really do. But I can't be with who you are now. I deserve peace, and you shattered my trust beyond repair." I broke down right there in public. I sobbed like a child. I told him I'd do anything, that I'd spend the rest of my life making it up to him if he'd just let me. He didn't yell. He didn't even get upset. He just looked at me with those tired, heartbroken eyes and said, "I hope one day you forgive yourself because I can't." Then he got up and walked away. That line haunts me. I hope one day you forgive yourself because I can't. I hear it when I try to sleep. I hear it when I wake up. I hear it in the silence of this house that feels emptier than I ever thought possible. People keep asking me why I did it, as if there's an answer that will make it make sense. There isn't. I risked a lifetime for a moment and I lost. I lost him, I lost his family, I lost the life we built together. And for what? A fling with someone who vanished the second it was over. I don't blame him for wanting a divorce. I don't blame him for cutting me out of his life. The only person I blame is myself. I destroyed everything good in my world with one night of stupidity. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe we'll never speak again. Maybe one day he'll find happiness with someone who truly deserves him. I hope he does. He deserves a love that never betrays him. A partner who will never make him question his worth. I couldn't be that person and that's on me. All I can do now is sit with the consequences of my actions. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect reconciliation. At this point, I'd settle for being able to look at myself in the mirror without feeling like I'm staring at the worst person alive. I know I may lose him forever. I probably already have. But I'm praying, maybe foolishly, that one day, when the pain isn't so raw, he might at least see me as a human being again. Maybe even a friend. Until then, I'll keep carrying the weight of what I've done. Because this is the bed I made, and now I have to lie in it. Final update. It's been several months since my last update, and everything is different now. The divorce is finalized. The papers are signed, the names changed, the life we once shared legally dissolved. Seeing that final stamp was like watching the last flame go out. I thought maybe I'd feel some kind of relief that the limbo was over, but all I felt was emptiness. He's gone. Not just physically, but in every way that matters. He cut off most contact after the divorce went through. The only conversations we had were about logistics, dividing furniture, closing accounts, the house. It's all done now. He moved out permanently, and from what I've heard, he's healing. He's been seen out with friends again, smiling a little more. A mutual friend even hinted that he might be seeing someone new, though they didn't confirm it. I can't say it doesn't hurt. It does, but at the same time, I hope it's true. If anyone deserves to find happiness again, it's him. As for me, I've been trying to rebuild. I've been in therapy working on my self-worth and on understanding the choices that led me here. The hardest thing to accept is that there isn't some grand explanation or trauma that excuses what I did. It was selfishness, impulsiveness, and carelessness. Therapy hasn't erased the guilt, but it's helping me learn how to live with it instead of letting it eat me alive. I don't go out drinking anymore. I don't put myself in situations where I could lose control again. Not because I think removing alcohol fixes the root problem, but because I know I can't afford to be reckless anymore. I've thrown myself into work, into hobbies I used to neglect, into routines that make me feel grounded. It's not the same as having him here. It never will be, but it's something. The regret is constant. It's quieter now, but it never leaves. It lives in the details. I'll be making coffee in the morning and suddenly remember how he used to hand me a mug before I even asked, knowing exactly how I liked it. Or I'll be walking down the street and instinctively reach for a hand that isn't there anymore. The little gestures that once felt so ordinary now feel like priceless treasures I carelessly tossed away. I used to think grand romantic gestures were the things that proved love. Now I know it was always in the everyday acts. Him texting me to drive safe, making space for me on the couch, holding my hand even in silence. Those boring things were the real romance, and I didn't appreciate them enough until they were gone. People say cheating is a mistake. I've come to hate that word. Forgetting to buy milk is a mistake. Missing a turn on the highway is a mistake. Cheating is a choice, a deliberate action, and choices have consequences. Permanent ones. I told him it meant nothing. But the truth is, if it destroyed everything we had, then it clearly meant something. Maybe not to me in that fleeting moment, but to him, to us, to the life we built. It meant everything. I've learned that trust is like glass. Once shattered, you can try to glue it back together, but it will never be the same. Every crack remains, a reminder of what was broken. And in our case, he wasn't willing to live with that shattered version of us. And I can't blame him. His words still echo in my head. I hope one day you forgive yourself because I can't. At first, those words felt like a death sentence. Now, I'm beginning to see them differently. Forgiving myself doesn't mean excusing what I did. It doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning, growing, making sure I never again take loyalty and love for granted. I'm not there yet. Some days I still look in the mirror and see nothing but the worst version of myself. But I'm working towards something better. I don't expect him back. I don't even allow myself to daydream about it anymore. He deserves a clean slate, a love that never makes him doubt his worth, a partner who treasures him fully. I wasn't that partner, but maybe someone else will be. And when I think about that, it hurts, but it also gives me hope. Because if he can find peace, then maybe one day I can too. I'll always carry the weight of knowing I lost the best man I'll ever know. That's not self-pity, it's just truth. He was steady, kind, thoughtful in ways that went beyond words. And I destroyed that. Living with that knowledge is part of my punishment, and maybe part of my path toward growth. To anyone reading this who is even thinking about stepping outside their relationship, please don't. Don't risk forever for a fling. Don't convince yourself that it's just one night, or it doesn't mean anything. It means everything. You may think you can compartmentalize, that your partner will never find out, that it won't matter. But it does. And even if they never find out, you'll know. You'll live with that lie between you. And if they do find out, you'll watch the light die in their eyes. And it's a sight you will never forget. If I could go back in time, I would give anything to undo that night. But time doesn't work like that. All I can do now is move forward, carrying the lessons I learned the hardest possible way. I don't know where life will take me next. I don't know if I'll ever find love again, or if I even deserve to. But I do know this. I will never take loyalty for granted again. I will never mistake temporary attention for real love. And I will never forget the man who showed me what true love looked like, even if I failed to honor it. This is my closure. It's not happy and it's not complete, but it's something. And maybe someday it will be enough.